Have you guys noticed that recently it seems like every single pro player has been using the Fennec? Like, I know it's a popular car, but it has been popping up way more frequently, and you see it all through ranked as well. Is there a reason as to why this might be? And even though it has the same hitbox as the Octane, does it actually have an advantage over the Octane? Well, strangely enough, yes. Today's going to be a very quick video, and I'm just going to explain to you the differences that the Fennec has, which actually makes it a more viable car to play than the fan favorite, the Octane. First, let me say, when the Fennec first came out, I was actually not even playing the game. I'd been taking a break from the game for about 5 months or so, but when I came back, it was in my ranked games, it was in pro play, and I watched some of Johnny Boy's show matches every night, and I saw it used all the time. The Fennec has been used religiously by high-level 1v1 players, and one of the biggest reasons for that are the 50-50s. A 50-50 is more than often the difference between a goal and getting scored on in a 1v1. And so winning a 50-50 is crucial. That's why players tend to use the Octane hitbox cars, as it is one of the tallest hitboxes, which allows you to muscle your way through the ball and not have it just go over the top of you like it would with a flatter car. But the reason why the Fennec is preferred over the Octane is because the hitbox fits the car better. Weird, I know. The hitbox is called the Octane hitbox, and yet the Fennec is still better suited to it because the model of the car better fits the hitbox. Take a look at this. This is the Octane and the Octane's hitbox. Notice how the front section of the car is actually higher than what the Octane body actually shows. If you were to dribble the ball or connect with it, the ball would contact the outline and not the actual body of the car that is normally shown in game. Now, compare this to the Fennec. Yes, while the Fennec still isn't just a rectangle like the hitbox shows, it better fills out the length of the hitbox, has a flatter nose to the car so it's easier to visualize connecting with the ball rather than the Octane's curved front. With the top of the car being flat, it is much easier to understand where to put the ball on your car for certain flicks or when just trying to control the ball. And then the underside of the Fennec is actually wider than the Octane, which adds to better the visual hitbox registration for players. This can be especially helpful for things like flip resets like we see in almost every single pro game these days. Since most pro players are already used to the Octane, making a switch over to the Fennec is much easier. So even still, with the Fennec being visually a better suited car to the Octane hitbox, you would think that players still prefer the Octane from time to time because they've used it for so long. And you would be right. We do still see the Octane being used in pro play, and I doubt that's ever really going to go away. But there is also the fact that players are getting increasingly better every season. If you take Zen, the dude who in his first tournament scored a psycho and then straight afterwards scored a double reset, and you put him in the middle of pro play 2 seasons ago, he would look like a god.
He scored a psycho.
I mean, we saw Jaro hit it, what, 6 months ago?
He's actually scored it. Bro, if there's any way to prove yourself on the main stage. Ah, god damn, he's done it. I mean, Zen does look like a god these days. He looks unreal in these tournaments. But regardless, the standard of pro players today is getting better and better. And so, when everyone is peaking every other day, you want to get any advantage that you can. Anything you can get, you should take. And so, logically, picking a car with a better suited visual model to the hitbox you're already using would just make sense. Now it's time to touch on the part I'm sure a bunch of you are thinking about. There is also a type of placebo in play as well. The Octane looks like a smaller car, and because of that it feels like a lighter, more speedy car, whereas the Fennec feels more grounded and has some weight behind it. For some reason, it just feels like you get better touches with the Fennec. It feels like the ball goes where you want it to go. Pro player Appjack has even said in the past, in Octane, I just play really fast and flashy and just go, go, go. And I'm just inconsistent. Whereas Fennec, I play really solid. Now, Appjack knows both these cars have the same hitbox, but it's more about the feel of the car. And then he goes on to say many pros have different playstyles when they play using the Fennec. Now, you can very well sit there and say it's all placebo and it's all in your head, but if a different car makes you feel like you play a different way, and that different way is better suited to the team environment, like Appjack does go on to say that he feels he plays more solidly and his team feels better when he's playing in the Fennec, then you should be playing in the car and the way that makes you feel best for your team. And I believe this is why you see quite a lot of pro players these days using the Fennec. It just feels like the better car. And when you're feeling good, you're playing good. So the Fennec gets a lot more play these days because visually it's just better suited to the most popular hitbox in the game. It has a heavier feel, which some pros say helps them to play more consistently and feel more grounded and solid in their playstyle, and the actual shape of the car makes it easier to visualize where to place the ball. And in case any of you are wondering my own opinion, as I often get asked to pick between these two cars, the OCTANE and the Fennec, personally I feel like I hit more clips and resets and everything like that in the OCTANE. I feel like I'm a bit more flashy and maybe a bit faster like Jack says. But I find that I'm struggling in my ranked games, I'll switch over to the Fennec and I'll just let the placebo kick in and convince myself that I'm playing better. So I go between the two depending on how I'm feeling. I'd love to hear your thoughts on the current wave of Fennecs entering the scene, and if you think there's a different reason as to why so many pros are suddenly switching over, and if you're gonna make the switch yourself. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time.